my name is Vlad, and I'm here to help you build the apps that you want using modern low-code solutions. In this series of videos, we'll cover the topic of how to make your FlutterFlow apps work offline. We'll cover caching the data in your mobile applications, storing the data locally using data types, and storing the data locally using SQLite. So let's get started. Let's start with a little bit of theory. Currently in FlutterFlow, you have two options to make your apps work offline. Those are storing data in data types and storing data in SQLite. And you can pull data out of cache if you have configured it before, and it is actually highly recommended to configure in cache even if in those applications that do not rely solely on online and on speed of the network in the area of user. Let's take a look at how cache in FlutterFlow works. First of all, when you configure the cache, you can set it up to be on the app level or on page level. We'll discuss how it works on the next slide. Currently, let's suppose that it is set up to be on the app level, and how it actually works. The app queries the database, and if you enabled caching the data as a setting in FlutterFlow, it stores the results of this query in cache, in local cache of the device. And then information is retrieved from cache if you hadn't cleared it before retrieving the information second time. And it happens each time until you reset the cache. That's how it works. You enable the cache, and the application is retrieving the data from cache until this cache become empty. Cache can be set up on app level or page level. On the app level, if you have the DB query result stored in cache, it won't get erased if you enter some other page in your application. If your cache is stored on the page level, it will be automatically cleared as soon as you click on the other page of your application or go there using any other mean. So actually, if you want to store the data locally, in case if the network is not available in the region of user for some period of time, it is recommended to use the app level, simply because user will probably try to enter some other pages, making the cache be gone, and it will not be useful in such case, simply because the application will erase results of the DB query from cache, and will try to retrieve this information from the server. And if the network is not available, this action will not be successful. Let's try to configure the cache in our inspection app. I have placed the link to create this database for this inspection app in the first comment of this video, and the application itself, the scaffold for this application, is also available in this link. So if you want to follow the tutorial alongside with me, please clone the application from this comment. That is how the script for creating the database structure looks like. You have the apartments table, rooms dictionary, apartment rooms, inspections. Here I described in the comments what is expected to be inserted into inspection status field, new in progress and finished, inspected rooms. And I have also described what should be put inside the is room okay and is room inspected. We have table users. We have the test data, which should be inserted after creation of the structure. And here we have the functions that we'll use later on in order to generate inspection code, in order to automatically generate it, the trigger, to get the list of all apartments in the database, to get inspection code from the latest inspection. And we have some database views that we'll use on the front end in order to retrieve information about inspections and apartments that were inspected. So please take a look, copy this, and paste into the Supabase editor or any PostgreSQL editor connected to your Supabase instance. And this is how the database structure will look like once you run those DDL statements that I have mentioned earlier. So the central table in our schema is inspections table. It has the apartment rooms connected to it via the inspected rooms table. So the logic is pretty simple. We have apartments, we have rooms in those apartments, and those rooms are defined by rooms dictionary, and those are just the apartments that we have in our database, not the inspected one. We need it to create a dictionary of apartments that can be inspected. And the second part is inspections and the inspected rooms. So inspections hold general information on the inspection itself, and the inspected rooms hold the information regarding the rooms of the apartments that were inspected. Once you're in the app, in order to get rid of those errors that you receive, you need to enable Supabase, insert API URL of your Supabase instance and a non key, and click Get Schema. Once the FlutterFlow catches up with the latest database schema, those errors will be erased, as you can see it here. Let's take a quick tour around the app. We have two main pages. First one is home page, which contains information on all the inspections performed by the company and inspection of the user that is logged in. What's interesting is that we'll cache results of the database query that are related to query of results of inspections here. We have some components that I have already prepared for you and that I'll describe a little bit later. What is actually interesting here is that we also have this refresh button that we'll use to clear results of cache manually. And we have the second tab called My Inspections, which has actually two sources of data. First source of data gets information from data types inside the app, and the second one gets information from server, and those results are, let's say, stacked one above another in order to show only the synced results when there are no unsynced one, and to show them gradually if there are any unsynced inspections that are held inside data types. We also have the profile page that we will not use during this course, during this tutorial. We have edit profile page, which we will not use as well. We have the create inspection page. Here we have a drop down that gets information from apartments table in our database, and this information is needed in order to address the specific apartment that we'll inspect. And we have the rooms that are related to the apartment that we selected, and we have the ability to get to fill information during the inspection regarding this room using the bottom sheet called add inspection room that is being raised each time we press on this apartment room card. Let's go further. We have standard authentication pages, create account and login. Those are just very basic ones that do not have any project that is different from any other standard app that has the login or create account features. And we have some utility components that I'll briefly describe. So the first one alerts us about the need to inspect at least one room that will raise here on create inspection page if we haven't filled information on at least one room. We have empty list component that will use here on home page in order to just show that we haven't yet inspected any property. We have load animation that we'll use to raise when going to add inspection page, simply because we have will have quite a bit of actions that take some time to perform, and thus we need this in order to show the user that the app is working, and the user just needs to wait a little bit of time before we start the application itself. We have the upload image card that uploads image to Supabase bucket and links it to the inspected room. And we have yes no selector that is being used in at inspection room bottom sheet. And we have some card components. As you have seen, we have apartment room card that is used in create inspection page, and we have inspection card that is being used on home page. It has the apartment code. It has the icon that shows whether this inspection is uploaded to the server or is stored locally. We have the inspection code in order to understand more clearly what is the number of inspection in numerical order. And we have the status, and we have the date that this inspection was performed. Let's get to custom code. We have a bit of custom code. So we have generate UUID function that we'll use to generate the ID of inspection locally before uploading it to the server. We have image to base 64 function that we'll use in order to convert the image that we want to store locally into base 64 in order to upload it further on the Supabase bucket. We have is cache invalid function in order to understand that the cache is invalid on page load and to automatically reset it. And you can see that it simply checks that it's been more than 30 minutes since the last time we created a cache. And we have some custom actions. First one checks the internet connection. We'll use it in order to understand whether to store data locally or to upload it to the server directly. We have create user folder in order to create a Supabase bucket for the user once the user is registered. We have the function to fetch all the apartments IDs that we'll use further in order to derive the inspection code. We have the last uploaded file function in order to understand which file on the Supabase bucket is the latest one that was downloaded there. We have get max inspection code number in order to increment the latest known inspection number locally. Let's take a look at the data types that we'll use to store data locally. Basically, we have two data types that are needed for our task, and those are inspection, that holds information on the inspection, and the inspected room that is linked with inspection via inspection ID. And we have the upstate. On the upstate, we have last cache time, and we'll use this upstate variable in order to understand whether we need to reload the cache locally. We have list of inspect rooms, and we have list of inspections. Let's start configuring the cache by checking automatically whether it is the time to clear the cache. As you remember, we have the function that checks that it's been 30 minutes since the last cache time, and we'll utilize it here. In order to automatically check whether it is time to clear and refresh the cache, we need to enter the scaffold, homepage scaffold, go to the actions, add action. We'll open the actions workflow, and the first action will be to check our upstate. As you remember, and as I've mentioned earlier, in the upstate we have the variable called last cache time, and we'll simply check whether it is set. By doing this, we'll do the very first check when the user is logged in, whether he or she has this last cache time set. Okay, go to state management, add conditional action, conditions, single condition, first value, go to upstate, last cache time, no further changes, and change it to is set. If it is not set, we'll need to set it. So add an action on state management, update upstate, set this field, last cache time, set value, and current time. Then we need to set up the action to check whether this cache is valid. And this is the action from our custom function that checks that it's been 30 minutes since the cache time was set last time. To do it, we need to add conditional action, custom functions, is cache invalid, and choose last cache time from our upstate. If it is invalid, let's say that it's been more than 30 minutes from the last cache time, we need to add several actions to update the state of the app. In case if cache time is invalid, let's say that there's been more than 30 minutes from last cache time, we need to perform several actions. We need to update the page state, we need to clear query cache, and then refresh database request. Remember that once we run database query or any database request, this request is being stored. So we do not need to add another action to create a new query cache. So let's start with updating app state. We basically can just copy and paste this action. Let's clear the cache. It is called get inspections main info. Wait around 1 second before we refresh the database request. And choose inspections list view and wait for the result. So that's it. We have configured this page to check and automatically clear the cache, run the database request, and create a new one. Next step will be to update the page state with this refresh button. In order to do it, please click on refresh button here. Go to action flow. Let's start with widget animation. Let's update the app state. By updating the app state, we update the last cache time. Select current time, hit confirm, clear the cache, wait for 1 second, and refresh database request. And here it is. So we have configured automatic and non-automatic refresh of the cache. And that's it from the point of view of the cache. In the next part of the tutorial, we'll work on create inspections page in order to insert data first into the app state, into the data types to store it locally, and update information on the web. Okay, and now it's time to configure the floating action button. This floating action button will be used to get to create a new inspection page, and thus we need to create an action workflow that will lead us there. Let's start with letting our user understand that this user did something, and in order to do it, we can use haptic feedback. Let's leave it light. Now let's add custom alert dialog, and in this custom alert dialog we'll insert the loading animation that I showed you when showcased the application. Let's select the component, load animation component, empty, and let's set it to be non-blocking in order for it to work in parallel with the actions that will go further. The next important one is to actually check whether there is an internet connection, and in order to do it, we can use check internet connection custom action. I also showed it to you while showcasing the app. Let's give an action output variable name is connected internet. Okay, nice. And let's add a conditional based on the output of this action. Let's say that there's no internet. Let's wait for 1 second in order to allow our animation to work at least 1 second. And navigate to create inspection page. When navigating to create inspection page, we have two page parameters that we need to pass. First one is the inspection ID. And in order to do it, we'll use custom function generate UUID. Why do we generate the unique ID here instead of relying on Supabase or local database? It is simple. Here we prepare it in advance for integration of SQLite into our application. SQLite does not have this automatic generation of UUID as Supabase and Postgres does. And thus, we have to create it manually when storing the information locally in order to sync it with Supabase when the action button to sync the data that is stored locally with the server will be pressed. The second one will be local inspection index, and in order to do it, we'll create a code expression. We'll call it max local index. Here we'll simply check what is the maximum local index of an inspection that is stored locally in order to assign new inspection code to the inspection that is stored locally. It will be an integer. Let's check first of all that we have any value in our local data, in our local app state. And in order to do it, we'll check that this inspection app state is set and not empty. In case if it is not, we'll apply an opposite statement here in order to check that it is actually empty and to assign 1 here. So it will be the first inspection. For else, we'll check our inspections that are stored locally. We'll sort them in descending order and get the value of local inspection index from the one inspection that was created recently. In order to do it, we enter an app state, inspections. Let's sort it. We'll sort it by local inspection index. We'll take the latest one. Let's default it to 1. Okay, and now let's create a simple expression. We'll just add 1 to the latest local index that is stored locally. Let's check it for errors. And let's give it default variable value of 1. So that's it here. Let's actually just dismiss custom dialog in order to get rid of this loading animation when going to another page. And now let's suppose that there is a connection to the internet. Let's get max inspection index from the server, since we have access to it. Let's give output variable name. Let's wait for 1 second to give our loading animation time work. Let's navigate to create inspection page. And here we'll also use this custom function to generate unique ID first. Even if we have an internet connection, it is necessary to do it. Why? Simply because we have some data that should be associated with this inspection. Remember that we have rooms to inspect, and in order to give those rooms some foreign key and this foreign key is the inspection, we have to generate it in order to paste it when generating the list of those inspected rooms. When creating an inspection using the Supabase function that is assigned to the primary key will not work in this case, simply because we will not have information about the inspection that has been performed when inserting the rows related to inspected rooms of this inspection. That's why we need to generate it on the client. And here, for the local inspection index, we'll use code expression. Remember that we have this max inspection code number on server, so we'll just use it here and we'll increment it by 1. Okay, it works. Let's give it default variable name value of 1, and we'll use action output here as an argument. Max code on server. Confirm. And let's dismiss this dialog. Okay, that's it for the floating action button. Let's move to create inspection page. Okay, now let's move on with creation of inspection page. And let me introduce you all the parameters and variables that are present here. Let's start with the page parameters. We have two page parameters that we pass when we go from home page and when we press this floating action button on the home page. And we pass here inspection ID and local inspection index in order to give our inspection some meaningful code if there is no internet connection and we have to store it locally first. So that's it. And we have some local page state variables. First of all, we have the inspection of inspection data type. As you remember, we have created, uh, as you remember, I showed you at the very beginning of the video the inspection data type, and it is used for local storage. And for local storage, we have the inspected rooms local list. Each time we will inspect a new room, this state will be updated with a new room that was inspected. We have inspected apartment rooms list. It is a list of IDs of inspected rooms. We have inspected apartment index. It is an index of inspected apartment, and we have inspected apartment room index. This we will need when we will create a workflow to finish the inspection, and it is basically needed to run a loop to insert those rooms from local lists into global upstate locally. So that's it with the parameters and local page state variables. Let me also tell you a bit about the data that we get from the server here. First of all, we get the information about the properties, and in order to do it, we query table apartments. And keep in mind that we also cache it simply because this information is also um, stored on the server. And if you lose connection at some point of time, will have the ability to uh, put this information from local cache if we have configured it properly, which is done here. We have the rooms that belong to this apartment, and in order to show it, we query apartment rooms view, and we also cache it, and we have such cards, and we'll actually apply some logic here in order to show it and conditionally fill it with the green color if it has been inspected. What else can I say about it? So when we choose property, we actually should update our local inspection simply because we have to state which apartment we have inspected, and that's why when we choose any of the drop-down value, each time we update the corresponding field. And the last thing about the page layout is this action on page load. And this one is very similar to what we did on the home page when we checked whether we need to refresh the local cache. And we basically do exactly this. First of all, we create a blank inspection in order to append information there further on. We check the internet connection. If the internet connection is present, we check the last cache time, just like on the home page, and conditionally update upstate and clear cache if needed, and refresh database both of those database requests. And actually, we do not have the false logic here, simply because it is necessary for this page to have an internet connection. But I will update this when we connect the SQLite database in the next video. That's why it is important to create it in such a way. Okay, let's configure the apartment room card. We need to fill all the necessary component parameters. For the room name, we'll get information from the apartment rooms. Query inspection ID will get from the page parameter. Room ID will get from the same query, and apartment room ID as well. And now we have come to a very interesting two interesting parameters. We actually want to fill it with green color when we have finished the inspection, in order to indicate a user that he or she has completed inspection of this room successfully. In order to do this, we should do the following. We should go to the page state, and we should check in inspected apartments rooms list. As you remember, it is a list of IDs of inspected rooms, and this list will be appended with new values once we finish inspection of a room. We'll just check that it is this list contains the room ID that is present on the apartment rooms query. In order to check it, we'll use the conditional expression if else. We'll check that this list contains this field. And if it contains the apartment room ID, then we'll paint it green, and in other case we'll paint it like this. Confirm. We can copy this variable and paste it here simply because we'll change only the colors. Okay, that's it. We have finished with assigning a correct color to the inspected room, to the room in the apartment if it was inspected, and actually raise a bottom sheet when we press this component in order to perform the inspection itself. Let's add action, bottom sheet. Add inspected room. Let it be 80% of the height of the page. And let's pass all the necessary parameters here. Inspection ID will get from the page parameter. Inspected room ID will be empty here, because it will be generated further on when we finish the inspection of the room. Here, same for room name. Same for apartment room ID. And let's pass some actions that should be performed when we finish this the inspection. This is the callback function, and as I have said earlier, when we finish the inspection, we have to add this room to lists of inspected apartment rooms that we'll use first of all to check the color that should be filled in the apartment room card component, and that we'll need to use when we insert the data into the database or local state. Let's update the state, page state. We'll add to list. We'll add to list action parameter inspected apartment room ID. We'll add the information regarding the inspected room. Here we'll add to list this information as well. You'll understand those parameters a little bit further when I show you the bottom sheet. Actually, when we erase the bottom sheet, we generate this we generate this ID, and when we fill the data regarding the inspected room, this data type, when we fill all the necessary information, we'll just append this information to our list to our list of inspected rooms here on this page. And let's also append this information to the inspection. Here we have a list of inspected rooms. Okay, a little bit of correction here. When we raise this bottom sheet, we should actually generate the unique ID for the inspected room. And in order to do it, we'll simply use the same functions that we used when we opened this page. So we have this custom function to generate UID, and we'll simply use it. Let's test it out. So you can see that it works successfully. Let's try to enter some notes here. Note 1. Let's say that room is okay. Yes, yes. Let's finish it. And it works. Great. Now we can move on to and what we actually can check here is whether this room was added to both lists that we need in our local page state. Yes, you can see that it is here at item 0, and you can see that it is also in inspection collection, in inspection data type that will store in our app state. That's great. Now we are ready to configure the very last button, finish inspection. Let's make a quick step back and discuss what is going on in one of the most used custom actions here in check internet connection. Actually, this custom action is quite simple. We just use the HTTP Dart package mostly, and we simply just check whether we can access the website from this lookup and parse values, and if we actually get the status code of 200. Status code of 200 we receive each time we successfully connect to the resource on the internet. That's why it is quite logical to check for this status when we load a particular page, client3 google.google.com. In our case, this address was chosen simply because, as far as I remember, it does not have a check for CORC, cross-origin resource sharing rules. And if we receive any other status than 200, we return false, and that's it. Now we can move on with creation of our inspection application. Okay, and now we're ready to configure the button to actually finish the inspection, and this one will be the most difficult, yet the most useful button in our tutorial, simply because it will utilize both concepts of sending data to server if there is an internet connection, and leaving the data in data types if there is no internet connection. Let's start doing this. Please click on the button, choose Actions, open Action Flow Editor, and add conditional action. First of all, let's check that we have inspected at least one room. In order to do it, you should go to page state, choose inspected rooms local list, and choose that it is set and not empty. In case if it is empty, we'll raise an alert that a person should inspect at least one room in order to finish the inspection. Otherwise, the inspector should just leave the create inspection page. We already have this custom alert. In order to add it, you should type here custom dialog, choose empty inspection alert. Let's put it in the middle. And that's it. Okay, then let's update our inspection. Let's first of all update the inspection that is stored locally. Thus, we should update page state. Choose the inspection. Update field. Choose inspection status and set value text finished. Now we have indicated in our local state that this inspection is finished, and after this we can check the internet connection. Let's name this action output as internet connection on finish inspection. And let's add a conditional based on the result of this action. Choose action output. Check internet connection on finish inspection. And suppose that there is no internet connection. Let's update this branch of a tree, which is false. Add action, update page state, and let's indicate that this inspection was not synced. Update inspection. Set it to false. You can go to constants and choose false here. And let's also add is synced string and set it to not synced. That's it for this action. So this is how we configured the inspection data type. And as you remember, in this data type, we have a nested list of inspected rooms. And in this action, we'll append this list to the data type inspection. And in order to do it, we should update the inspection data type, which is in the app state. Update app state. Choose the inspections, add to list, and choose our local inspection. Which is located in the page state. Wrapping it up, when we opened the create inspection page, we created local inspection page state variable. We have appended some inspected rooms there, and we have updated status of this inspection. And once the inspection is finished, we append the local inspection to the application state in order to store it in the internal database. We do it simply because in case we just don't want to finish the inspection, or we want to delete it just at the very beginning, and to not remove it from the local database, we add information locally, and if we exit it, then it gets automatically erased. But in this case, we are finishing the inspection, and that's why we add this local inspection to the app state, to the local storage of the application. And that's it. At the very finish, let's just navigate to homepage and disable back navigation. So that's it for the local storage of inspection if there is no internet connection. Let's update the server if there is an internet connection. Let's update the page state, and in order to do it, let's just copy this very first action. The only thing that we change here is that it is actually synced. And let's choose true here. Done. In this case, we also update the app state in order to use the information from cache, if possible. That's it. We just copy and pasted it. And now let's insert the row into the inspection table. Backend, Supabase, insert row. We're inserting into inspections table. Inspection ID we get from page parameter. Apartment ID we get from our local inspection. Data structure field, inspected apartment ID. User ID we can get from a global property of authenticated user. Inspection status we can hard code it as finished. Inspection code we can also grab from our page state inspection. Data structure field, inspection code. For the created ad, we can actually grab this information from the page state also. Inspection, data structure field, inspection date. And the same we can paste into last updated ad, simply because at the very first insert of the information, those dates are the same. So we just paste it. For the is synced, we can hard code that it is synced. And that's it. So we have finished with insertion of the parent row of inspection. And here comes the most interesting part, is that we should insert a row for each inspected room into the inspected rooms table. And in order to do it, we should actually run a loop here, which is based on such condition. First of all, let's add loop. There will be a single condition. We have local page state variable called inspected room Supabase index. This is the index that we will increment at each insert of a row. Initially, it is set to 0, and at each step of our loop, we will increment it by 1 until we come to the end of number of items in the inspected rooms list. So we choose here this variable, add less than, go to page state, choose inspected rooms local list, and choose number of items. So this loop will run, for example, if we have inspected 3 rooms, it will run 3 times, simply because there are 3 items in the inspected rooms local list in the another page state variable. And that's when the loop will be finished and the loop will break. So we have configured the loop condition, and now let's configure an actual action that we have to perform. We have to perform insert into our Supabase table, insert row, inspect rooms. Let's go to page state. Let's go to our inspected rooms local list data type. We'll get item at index, specific index, and we will link this specific index to our inspected rooms Supabase index. So items in lists are indexed starting from 0, and this inspected room Supabase index also starts from 0. Thus, we actually select the row, the specific row of the same Supabase index that we are currently at. And thus, we can identify which row we want to insert. Thus, we just link it here, page state, inspected room Supabase index. We choose what data structure field at this index. For example, at the very first one we want to select, and we choose inspected rooms ID. Click confirm, and let's actually copy and paste it, simply because we'll run the same selecting logic at each of the columns that we want to insert into our Supabase table. Here we paste it, but in the data structure field we choose inspection ID. Paste it, but choose apartment room ID. Also pasted is room. Okay. Here choose is room inspected. Room image. Notes. And for the created at and last updated at, we can choose the date of inspection. So we can go back to our backend call into inspections table and copy this value, paste it into created at column and last updated at column. Let's click confirm, and that's it for the insertion of all the inspected rooms into inspected rooms table on our back end. But we should also configure the next action. We should configure an actual increment of our inspected rooms Supabase index in order to get to the next step of the loop. So go to state management, update page state, select this inspected room Supabase index, increment, decrement, and increment or decrement it by 1. So that's it. And let's add an action after the end of the loop, and we will also navigate to home page. So that's actually it. Let's test it out. Let's test what happens when there is an internet connection. Thus, we do not do anything with the internet here. Let's just hit plus button. Let's select the property. You can see on the debug panel that the inspection ID has been successfully created. Local inspection index that we'll use in construction of inspection code as well. So we chose this, the very first apartment. Let's choose first bedroom, node 1. You can see that our inspected room info is being updated here. Is room okay? Let's say that everything is okay. Okay, everything works fine. You can see that we have this 0 item in our inspected rooms in the inspection data type. Let's add second one, node 2, finish room inspection, and there's another item here, node 3. Let's say that everything is okay. So you can see on the debug panel that inspected rooms local list now contains 3 items starting from 0. That the inspection is also updated. The local inspection with 3 rooms. Inspected rooms Supabase index starts with 0. Thus, let's click finish inspection and see what happens on the backend and front end. Okay, now you can see that this inspection has successfully been added to the list of our local inspections. And let's look at the database. And you can see that it is here. This one that is synced 14th of July. So that's it. And let's actually take a look into the inspected rooms. Let's check that all the inspected rooms were successfully added. Let's sort by created add. So you can see the 3 last rows were successfully added. Thus, our loop worked perfectly fine, and that is actually great. You can see that we have successfully added the information to our server, and it is also contained in our local page state, which can be used when there is suddenly no internet connection, and the information will be chosen from cache. Now let's check what happens if suddenly internet connection disappears. So I have a little correction in this workflow after testing the web version of the app, and it seems like check internet connection custom function does not work as expected when it checks the internet connection. Thus, this branch works perfectly fine when we update the information of the server, but it does not work that well when we want to utilize the second branch when there's no internet connection. Thus, we need to tweak our workflow a little bit. So at the very start, we'll update our local inspection with status that it is finished, and we will set that it is not synced at the very beginning, and we'll add this information into the app state without any changes. Let's say that we have an internet connection and we want to change. We want to say locally and on the app state that this inspection is actually finished. So in order to do it, we should update the page state and set value inspection is synced to true and is synced to synced. And we have to update the app state simply because we have already appended the local inspection into our app state previously before checking the internet connection. And in order to update the item, we can just update item at index, and we can update it using local inspection index. And we update those fields in the inspection upstate as well. And that's it. Let's check that it works correctly. So I have already run a bunch of tests, and we'll simply see that we have successfully added a new inspection locally. Let's say we want to test the situation when we run out of internet connection in the middle of inspection. So let's start a new one. Let's select a new property. Bedroom 1. Is room okay? Let's say it is okay. And now I turn off the internet. So you can see that there is no internet. Let's finish the inspection. And this one works as intended. We do not move to the home page simply because there is no internet, and we're on the web version of application that requires internet in order to navigate between pages. Thus, let's just close this one and let's connect to the internet again. Let's go to my inspections. Let's refresh it. And yes, the inspection was successfully added to the list of those that are brought from the local inspection. And how can we understand that those are dragged out of upstate? Is that if we come back to the home page, to my inspections, you can see that we have actually two lists that are stacked one above another. The very first list is derived from the upstate, from the inspections data type, and we just filter out those that are not synced. Inspection is synced equals to false. And below it, we have a list from the server, and obviously, if we have synced the information to the server, it will be here. And if there wasn't internet connection, then the information will be here. This is how it is expected to work when the check internet connection custom function works properly. However, currently it adds to the upstate and to the server at the same time. Thus, the information gets duplicated, but we can actually configure our workflow to delete information from the upstate if there was an internet connection. However, we'll do this on the next lesson. I think that's it. During this tutorial, we have learned how to store information locally in our upstate. We have tested it, and it successfully added to the local upstate. Thus, our application can work offline if needed. In the next lesson, we'll add SQLite to this equation, and we'll take a look at how to store information locally using SQLite. That's it. That was the first part of this tutorial. The next time I'll describe how to use SQLite to store data locally in your FlutterFlow apps. If you liked this tutorial, please click like button below and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.